All right, so now that I have it folded into my M or W shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue and I'm going to put it on the piece that is going to become our mouth here. So I'm going to hold it down for just a second. So this is what it should look like so far. Oops, that's going to maybe need a little bit more glue, but this is what it's going to look like. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out my eyeballs. I'm going to put a little more glue here so that this stays a little better. And I took apart my one puppet so that I could double check that I was making it right. So that's why that looks like that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out my eyeballs. And you're going to want to leave the little rectangles that are on the bottom. That way you can fold them. And that's what's going to hold the eyes of your shark up. So there's one of my eyeballs. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut out my second one. All right, so now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom rectangle of my eye. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it onto my shark. So my shark's looking really good here right now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my piece of paper that I cut off. That way we can make our fin. I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm also going to glue this down so that it stays in place. Just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my shark's fin out. And you can decide what you want your shark's fin to look like. This is how I want mine to look. And then I'm going to fold it a little bit here at the bottom. Just enough that, like the eyes, there is a little tail. And since I folded it in half, since I glued it together, there's a flap on both sides so that it'll stay on my shark. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue, and I'm going to glue that on. So there's my shark. The next thing that my shark needs is a mouth. So the way that I did it was I put it in here to figure out how long I needed my red piece to be. And then I'm going to cut 2 of those. One for the top and one for the bottom. But before I put the mouth part in, what I'm going to do is, same way, I'm going to go ahead and see how big I need the teeth. So I think I can cut all but 4 of these off. And just like with the eyes, what you're going to do is you are going to want to leave the rectangle on. And you're just going to do the same thing and fold this over. Maybe it might be a little easier to do while it's still in one piece, or to do once you've glued your shark's teeth into the mouth, because I went and I ripped mine on accident. That's okay. We're just going to take a little bit of glue and we're going to glue our teeth in. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my top row. I'm going to keep 4 of my teeth here. Oops. And I think I'm going to go ahead and fold it over quick before I cut my triangles out, because it's a little easier that way. Once again, I'm going to take a little bit of glue and I'm going to glue my teeth in. My fin came off. Then I'm going to take my tongue pieces, or the inside of my mouth pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and glue those in on top of the teeth. That way they hold the teeth in a little bit for me. And then once again, I'm just going to go ahead and re-glue my fin. All right, so here is my shark, and I might need to trim a little bit of my red because my teeth are coming off a little bit. But here is my shark. All right, so now that we've made our shark puppet, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to read a story about a shark. And this shark's name is Gilbert. So his name is Gilbert the Great. And this is by Jane Clarke and Charles Fuge. From the time Gilbert, the great white shark, was a tiny pup, Raymond the remora stuck to him like glue. Raymond was always at Gilbert's side. And there's Raymond the remora. When Gilbert was stuck in the seaweed, Raymond untangled him. When Gilbert got dirty, Raymond cleaned him up. And when Gilbert lost his first row of teeth, Raymond helped him collect them for the tooth fairy. Gilbert and Raymond had lots of fun. They loved to play finball, hide and seek, and sardines. They shared everything. Then one day, Raymond told Gilbert that his family had to move across the ocean. "I don't want to go, but Mom says I have to," cried Raymond. As Raymond and his family swam away, Gilbert's mother hugged him tight and tried to comfort him. "Raymond's my best friend," said Gilbert. "Why did he have to go away? It's not fair." "I know," said Mom, "but his family couldn't just leave him behind." She kissed Gilbert on the snout. "Go and play hide and seek with the pilot fish. It will keep your mind off Raymond." But Gilbert couldn't stop thinking about his friend. "I want to move with Raymond," Gilbert said. "He's moved too far away," said Mom. "We have to stay here. Let's go watch the basketball game. The Thrashing Threshers are playing the Tidal Tigers. Who do you want to win?" Gilbert looked around. There were remoras everywhere, but none of them was Raymond. "I don't care," he said, and he swam off before either side scored a basket. "It's my fault Raymond moved, Gilbert snapped as he passed an eel. "Last week, I called him a sucker." "You didn't make Raymond leave," Mom smiled. "Everyone fights sometimes." The clownfish did their best to cheer Gilbert up, but nothing could make him smile. The next day at school, everyone was very kind to Gilbert. They even gave him an extra long turn on the seesaw. "Cheer up," said Marvin the Mallet. "There are plenty of fish in the sea." "There isn't another Raymond," said Gilbert. Gilbert was still sulking when Mom came to collect him from school. "It's not the same without Raymond," Gilbert pouted. That night, Gilbert cried and cried and cried, and his warm tears mingled with the cold ocean water. The next morning, Mom took Gilbert gently by the fin and towed him into the shallow water. Rocked by the gentle waves, they gazed out at the seashore and the big, bright blue sky. "I hope Raymond's new home is as nice as this," said Gilbert. "I'm sure it is," said Mom. "I'm hungry," Gilbert said suddenly. "We'll go to the wreck," said Mom. Gilbert's eyes lit up. They didn't usually go to the wreck. Mom didn't like eating junk food. Scrunch, munch, crunch. As Gilbert was biting into a pile of tin cans and bits of old boat, he spotted a small remora crying in the shadows. Gilbert stopped crunching and swam toward her. "What's the matter?" Gilbert asked. "Mom and I moved, and I had to leave my shark behind," she sobbed. "Now I don't have any friends." "My remora had to move too," said Gilbert. "I'm so lonely." Gilbert and the remora looked at each other and smiled wobbly smiles. I'm Gilbert, said Gilbert. I'm Rita, replied the remora. Just then, a ray of sunlight filtered through the deep blue ocean. Gilbert's teeth flashed, and he grinned a huge grin. Do you want to play finball with me, Rita? He asked. Sunlight danced in Rita's eyes. I'd love to, she said, and the two new friends swam off to find a ball to play with. The end. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for making our shark puppets and reading about Gilbert. We will see you next week and hope you enjoyed.